Hey everybody, Spooky Marshmallow here, and today I am going to be reviewing the film The Girl in the Photographs. So let's dig into this. It came out in 2015. It is now streaming on several different platforms that I found. Vudu, Prime, Apple TV, just to name some of them. So let's get in. Rotten Tomatoes gave this movie a 17. I'm going to disagree. But this time, I'm going to give it a higher number. I know, shocking, right? I'm going to actually give this one a 50. That's a Spooky Marshmallow rating, is a 50 on this. So let's dig into it. So it's directed by Nick Simon. And it's about a young woman, photographer, and models investigate a supposed haunted house and get terrorized by a couple of psychopaths. It takes place in South Dakota. Good music, beginning when she is home alone, is extremely creepy, and it scared the crap out of me. Acting is good and believable. The photographer in this film is a total douchebag. I love how you think the killers are going after a certain person, but it turns out to be someone else. Some attempts of humor, but it fails. The kills are brutal. The subject matter is a bit unnerving and made me uncomfortable. Also made me afraid to enter a dark room by myself. The ending was a bit confusing. But here's a juicy tidbit about it that really made me excited. One of the executive producers is none other than Wes Craven, right? And I didn't catch it at first. Probably because usually like at the very, very beginning, like when they're if there's not an opening scene when they're running like credits and stuff, usually by then I'm like writing down stuff for the review. And I didn't catch it. I didn't catch it till the end of the film. And so then I looked it up. I'm like, did I just see that correctly? Executive producer Wes Craven. And sure enough, it turns out, yes, he was an executive producer on this film. So that automatically will make it a good film. Okay. I've not encountered a Wes Craven film that I didn't like, I should say. They're interesting. Okay. But yeah, Wes Craven on this film, and I was shocked by it only because it's not a big budget film. The scenery in this film, it takes place in South Dakota. I've personally never been to South Dakota, but the scenery in this film was beautiful. It was gorgeous, and it made me want to go there, just the scenery of it. I said the acting was really good. It is. It is. For a horror film that came out in 2015, I know, but you know how I feel about modern horror films. The acting was not bad at all. The movie was believable. If somebody were to tell me about this or say, hey, here's a story, here's a juicy story, I got to tell you about this, I would believe them. I would believe them. So it's very good. The kills are brutal. Yes, they are brutal in this film. So if you're a person that's not, squeamish with the blood and the gore and the guts, what have you, first of all, why are you watching this? Second of all, you're going to like it. Yeah, I feel like it's pretty good. Pretty good. Like I said, it kind of reminds me of a film noir when, and here's why, not necessarily the whole part of it, but here's why it kind of reminds me of that in the perspective that you think the killer is going after a certain person, but it turns out they go after someone else, and you're like, oh my God, I did not see that coming. It's one of those type of situations. So I highly recommend this film. Is it a film that I would watch again? Probably not. It's not going to be a staple, but I don't regret that I watched it in the first place. It was a good, decent film for coming out in 2015. Probably because of Wes Craven. I'm sure he had his hands in that. So yeah, I would say give it a watch. Give it a watch. If you've got Vudu, Prime, Apple TV, those are just the three I wrote down, but it's probably streaming, probably even on Tubi, and some other streaming services that I didn't write down. And it is called The Girl in the Photographs. One thing about it I will say, though, too, is that it revisits the old person in a cage, let's go visit them and torture them concept. Several films have done that, also several books. In fact, I just started reading a book, and that's one of the very first chapters of the book. That is what happens. An older couple kidnaps this young guy, takes him down to the basement. He's locked in a cage, and they're feeding him liver. Yeah. So yeah, I just started reading that book, but I've read other books before where that happens in the book. Same with the movies. I've seen a lot of different horror films that have someone locked in a cage, or in Silence of the Lambs, a well, and they're being, tortured. They're being slid food or water, or whatever, for some reason or another. This movie plays into that. So just so you're aware of that. But yeah, it's really good. Highly recommend it. I know spring break is coming up for a lot of people. So if you've got time and you're bored, you don't have anything planned, you're just kind of having a staycation at home, definitely give it a look-see. Let us all know down in the comments section below what you think of the film. Did you like it? What did you take away from it? Let us know. Be more interactive on this channel. Don't just watch this and be like, oh yeah, whatever, moving on to the next. Let's be some interactive here, people. So let us know down in the comments section below, what did you think of this film? And if you haven't seen it, definitely it's worth giving a watch. Alright, that's going to do it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Spooky Marshmallow, and remember, stay spooky, my friends.